Garages will sell you thousands of dollars worth of extra services and parts that I almost guarantee you don't need. I'm going to talk about 3 ways to save you from becoming victims of predatory mechanics and garages. Now you're going to want to watch this to the end. This kind of thing happens almost every time a senior takes their vehicles in for maintenance. I've seen it myself. When I walk into a garage, heck, I'm only 60 years old. I walk into a garage to get some tires or get an oil change or whatever. They see my gray hair and it's almost like they're watching a piggy bank walk in. So I'm sure they do this as well with you. So I hope I'm going to save you some of that. So in my younger years, I owned my own automotive service business, and I've worked for other automotive service businesses, different places. Some of them were fairly reputable, some of them were not. But there are some tricks that they pull that can cost you an awful lot of money. I'm talking thousands of dollars. So here are a few examples from my own experience, recent too. So my mother-in-law, who was recently passed, bless her heart, she took her vehicle in to the dealership, to a guy that she really loved, this guy, the service manager. So she just needed new brakes. I think it was a grinding going on, something. So she took it in, and by the time she was done, they had charged her $2,000 for new calipers and new brake lines and new pads. Now I happened to get this car. She gave it to us when she quit driving. And I started working on it because one of the sets of brakes was worn out. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. She just had this done. She just had all this done. So I take it apart. The calipers and the lines were original equipment. Only one set of brake pads was changed. Everything else was old. So I fixed it and whatever. And she still swears by this, or up until her death, she swore by her guy. Now my grandmother, this is a while back, but still, while she was still alive, she took her car in to I think, one of the quick lube shops to get an oil change. At that point, they came and told her that she had to replace all 4 of her struts, the rear brakes, which most certainly didn't need to be replaced, and a full fuel system cleaning service. Now this was all, and a transmission flush. This was a $2,500 oil change. And I gotta tell you, what she really needed was an oil change. Should have cost $50. This car had under 30,000 miles on it. Now, one of my customers back when I was doing work, I live in Missouri and we have state car inspections here every year or every 2 years, depending on what year it is and what year your car is. One of my customers took her car in for an inspection, and it needed both lowers and both upper ball joints. And I was a mobile mechanic at the time. I came out, and one of the things I did was inspection remediation. So anything they found on the inspection, I would take care of, and then they would take it back and get it done. So I lifted the front end off the ground. I started prying, and I checked the ball joints. There was no play in the ball joints. There was nothing wrong with the ball joints. And I told her, there's nothing wrong with the ball joints. So she goes, well, they won't pass it unless this is done. I said, well, let me take it back. So I took the car back. I took the same car to the same shop and the same mechanic. And guess what? It passed. That was a $12 inspection that should have been, or that they tried to charge her $750 worth of repairs for. So this is just crooked. Now, I'm going to pause for a second. Tell me in the comments what sort of maintenance scams you might have seen or heard about. I know people are really interested in this kind of stuff, especially when we're talking about the kind of money that they're charging to get this work done. Okay, now number one, places that you take your car. Okay, big box stores. You all know who I'm talking about. Any big box store that has a garage. Okay, for one thing, don't take your car there. It's not convenient. If they were skilled mechanics, they wouldn't have to take a job there. I wouldn't let them change my oil. They're going to use overpriced cheap oil, overpriced cheap filters, and then they're going to find $1,000 or $2,000 worth of work that you also need done. And you don't need it done, and if it did need done, they probably don't have the proper skills to do the work. So don't do that. Tire shops. Take your car to a tire shop when you need tires, and where you need tire-related services. Don't take anything else that they're trying to sell you. And now you're going to have a service manager up front. He works at the cash register usually. Sometimes he works in the garage a little tiny bit, but that's really just going back and forth and talking to the technicians in the garage. And then they're going to do a free, 50-point inspection for you, just for your convenience. And then they're going to come out and tell you that you need $2,500 worth of work done to your car that didn't need anything when you rolled in there. The car is running fine. Just don't do it. If there are skilled mechanics in that shop, they won't be there for long. I'm telling you, they won't work there because they're going to get paid much better somewhere else, and they're going to get paid a lot better doing it on their own. Okay, so now, quick lube shops, and that you all know what I'm talking about. It's somewhere where you go in to get your oil changed. I question whether I would even let them change my oil, but I do on occasion when I just don't have time or I'm traveling and it comes time for an oil change. But even then, I'm checking to make sure they put the plug in right, make sure that the filter's not leaking. And once again, they're going to do the test, or they're going to do the oil change. And then when they get finished with the oil change, they're going to be doing an inspection, and they're going to find all these things that need to be done to your car. They're also going to, the service manager, once again, is going to take you and show you a computer. Look at this. Your manufacturer says that you're due for a transmission flush, or you're due for a whatever. It doesn't make any difference. You don't need it. Chances are you don't need it. But don't let an oil change shop do anything for you except change your oil. Don't do it. Anything the service managers in any of these places tell you that you need, that you did not bring your car in for, the answer is no. That's it. You can find a reputable mechanic somewhere to do this work. And there are reputable mechanics. I don't mean to tell you these guys are all criminals. They're not. Some people are skilled mechanics and they're very honest. Hats off to them. Because I got to tell you, as a mechanic, as a skilled mechanic that's honest, you will have more business than you can handle. Okay. Number 2, when to use a dealership. I think that dealerships should be used to do warranty work and to do recalls. Nothing more. And once again, the service manager. This is the nice fellow that's out there that's talking to you in the waiting area when you're getting your car work done. And he's usually a nice guy, but he has a job to do. His job is to keep those maintenance bays 100% full for every working hour. So they'll find things that need to be done. Hey, you want us to go ahead and service your car while you're here? No. You will handle all of the maintenance on your own when you want to do it. When you need an oil change, you'll get an oil change. When you need tires, you'll get tires. Other than that, you don't need anything extra. Okay. So, number 3, unnecessary services. These are a big one. And I know that shops really sell these things pretty hard. So a fuel system service, fuel system cleaning service, fuel system flush service, whatever. You don't need it. They'll have in a lot of these places, they'll actually have some engine valves sitting in a little glass box. And one of them looks all crusty and all carboned up, and the other one's a brand new valve. And they're saying this is before and this is after. That is not true. You do not need this service. I've been driving for a whole lot of years, and so have you. The probability of you ever needing to have had a fuel service is just about slim and none, and slim done left town. Coolant system flushes. Well, this is another one. This could cost you $150, $180, or they'll call it a back flush or a flush, whatever. You don't need this. We haven't needed these in decades, unless you're using hard water in your coolant system with the antifreeze. Use distilled water and antifreeze in the proper ratio. I think it's about 50-50 for most cars, but it might change depending on where you're at, the temperature it gets in the winter. But use distilled water and that antifreeze, and you're never going to have a problem. Change it about every 5 years or so. Once a year, check it with a little hygrometer to see what temperature it is. If it's not as low as you expect the temperature to be that winter, go ahead and change it. But it does not need to be flushed. Once again, I have never had a coolant system need to be flushed. And I've driven a lot of old cars. But I do maintain my coolant system. Transmission flushes. No. Unless the warranty on your car is still active and they require it, you don't need it. What you should do on occasion is have your transmission fluid changed and the filter changed. You don't need a flush. You just need to keep the fluid good. And like I said, there are going to be some warranties that will require this at, say, 50,000 miles or something like that. And in that case, go ahead and do it, just to keep your vehicle warranty up to date. But other than that, you don't need it. Now, if you've gained anything from my videos or from this video in particular, I'd really like for you to take a minute and like it, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody else who might need to hear this, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd also love it if you share your experiences in the comments section, so others can actually learn from your experiences. And so anyway, that's all I have for today. And this video has been broken up into several parts, so I'm going to have another one that's real soon, and it's going to be the common scams that mechanics and service managers will pull on you, and how to save yourselves from that hassle. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Stay safe.